They've played on all the biggest stages, and this is another occasion just like that. It's 4 times world champion Mark Selby against fellow Triple Crown champion Shaun Murphy for a place in the Shanghai Masters final. Frame 10 of a possible 19. Murphy to get us back underway with work to do. But he will be feeling a whole lot better, Neil, for winning that final frame of the session.
Indeed he will. So hello to everyone watching from wherever in the world you are, seeing this. Good afternoon in the UK and in Europe. It's a pretty emphatic scoreline in favour of Mark Selby, but like you say, it feels very different at 7-2 than 6-3. And Murphy taking that frame has kept him in there. Selby's played pretty well. He missed 1 or 2 very surprising balls, but I suppose you can't pot them all. He controlled the match, I think, in general. Just the start that Murphy wants is to have an early leave, and I think with Murphy, he's quite a good player from behind. There's a number of instances of that, mostly at the Crucible, but in long matches where he almost lets his arm go and he becomes an extremely dangerous player when he's chasing the game a little bit. Which he is now at 6-3 down.
And as mentioned, Selby not necessarily in the most positive place right now in terms of his relationship with the game, and perhaps that's something that Murphy will feel he can exploit if he can start this session strongly, just raise a few doubts in his opponent's mind. And clearly his game is intact. He scored very heavily in his first 2 rounds. He hasn't produced that form so far in this match, just the 1/2 century ahead of that final frame of the session, but he knows his game is there, so it's just a case of bringing it out tonight.
Yes, in the case of Mark Selby, I mean, nobody likes losing at the Crucible. Lost to Joe O'Connor, his friend from Leicester. He was on debut and he felt maybe that was a decent draw for him, I think. Turned out not to be. He's a good player, Joe O'Connor. And of course you get the microphone thrust in front of your face. He suggests you might retire, but there isn't anything Mark Selby can do better than be a snooker professional. And I think you realise that when you consider throwing it all away and doing something else. He's an immediate, perhaps knee-jerk reaction to not winning. He won't be the first to have done it, or said it at the end of a World Championship. Good that he's playing again, but as far as Murphy is concerned, if he could get in and make a few here and apply some early pressure, that would be his best hope. Playing this red through the bunch, reds will go everywhere. People tend to think cue power is all about screwing back, but you can show topspin and employ good cue power as well. Slightly ticklish one here with a bit awkward cueing. In it goes. Well, he's got the balls in prime position now.
29.
It wasn't a great season for Murphy by any means. He started it well enough, won the Championship League, beating Mark Williams right at the start of the season, but that was as good as it got in a ranking event. He didn't get past the round of 16 in any ranking tournament. Lost in the second round of the World Championship in that feisty encounter with his old rival Stephen Maguire. So overall it was a disappointing season for Murphy, who had bounced back to form
37
in style the previous season with a couple of big titles, including the Tour Championship. He did play in the Championship League at Leicester
38.
ahead of coming to Shanghai, and won 5 of his 6 matches, so got some valuable match practice in, and that has been in evidence this week. Less so today so far, but there's still clearly time, particularly in winning that 3rd frame for him, which has
45.
kept the deficit to something manageable.
46.
He's got to work out which red to play on here. Probably has to let the cue ball either travel up the table or play a little cannon, because those reds are not potable to the corner. So yeah, that was a sensible move, I think.
53. 54.
Made the final here in 2019, Murphy
59.
losing to O'Sullivan, although it was a close one, 11-9. And of course that was the final year it was staged before COVID intervened. And it's returned to the calendar last season when O'Sullivan won yet again, beating Brazil.
60.
Talking of finals, that world final was a pretty close match, wasn't it? 18-15. You felt that Selby was just about always calling the shots in it, but there were moments when Murphy looked like he was going to peg him back, and it was going to end up perhaps the last frame decider, which we haven't seen for some years at the Crucible, but it didn't quite
56.
materialise.
Yeah, I recall Murphy did get his nose in front on the first evening, but wasn't quite able to kick on, and thereafter Selby was able to just keep him at arm's length.
67.
And of course they contested the 2007 semi-final at the Crucible when Murphy was 2 up with 3 to play. Selby turned it around to win in the decider before losing to Higgins. Well, there goes the first frame, exactly the start Murphy was looking for.
74.
Yeah, you go back to the shot that Selby played. He played a red to left corner thinking it was leaving nothing, but you're always capable of leaving the red that you're playing. And that's what it did. It went across to the right side.
75.
And that's the reason this frame is over. I guess that's the reason his matches are played over 2 sessions and not 1 in the semi-finals, because there is time to make up lost ground.
81. 82.
Murphy has passed 650 career
89.
centuries now. Made 32 last season, which, as mentioned, was overall a disappointing campaign for him.
90.
But a wonderful break builder and one of the most aesthetically pleasing players to have played the game, I think. Just so good to watch when he's in amongst them.
97.
Yes, he can make 140 here. I think a break when you get to the
98.
140 or more, it always feels a little bit special. Of course, 139 is still a brilliant break, but there's something about it in the 140s. You would need a black with this last red for that to be possible. Murphy doing what he does, little
95.
acknowledgement from the crowd, almost like a golfer's hold a putt. So now he can make that many. 140 is on. What a start to the evening session.
Barry Hawkins holds the highest break, of course, a 141. £10,000 bonus for whoever holds it come the end of proceedings on Sunday. But as you say, what a start this is from Murphy.
113.
And a message to Mark Selby that he's very much still in contention in this match. Outplayed in the first session. Got himself a lifeline at the end of it. And you could see the fury in Selby's face when he missed that pink, because he knew he'd let Murphy off the hook there. And this is probably what he was fearing. Murphy
118.
building on that, starting this deciding session in impeccable fashion.
122. $127.
What he'll do at the end of this break, Murphy, again, he'll show more acknowledgement of the applause. He'll nod his head to all sides of this arena, which is a nice thing. It's his own idea. Most players don't do that, but he will be very thankful for the applause that's about to come his way.
Precision snooker from Shaun Murphy, and there is the acknowledgement, and the crowd appreciate.
From 11. Selby to break.
So Mark Selby sitting out the opening frame to a quite brilliant 140 total clearance from Shaun Murphy. Back-to-back frames for Murphy from 6-2 and very nearly 7-2 behind. 10, of course, is the target. The winner to play the Ronnie O'Sullivan or Judd Trump. They're in action from 7 o'clock UK time tomorrow. The final over the best of 21 frames on Sunday. And 210,000 goes to the winner, so big money on offer in early season here in Shanghai.
Yes, and when you look back at a long match like this, 2-session, usually, should, for instance, Mark Selby lose this match now, which I'm not saying he will for one moment, but he won't look back at the break of 140 from Shaun Murphy. It'll be the close frames that have gone to his opponent, like the one that we were speaking about, the last of the afternoon. That's on count back, the frames that hurt the most. Good play is something you accept from your opponent.
One.
It's a good opening red. He'd be interested in that red by the black. He had a quick look down the line. He'd like to think it would be potable from behind it, and that would free the black, of course. Otherwise, it will be quite difficult to make that many with pink and black completely out of the game.
4.
So a little look down that channel again, across from above the black down to the left corner. See if he can play him behind it. The other thing he could do is go into the pink and open them that way, but he's more of a meticulous player than playing a shot like that, Selby. So there he is on that right side. Little shake of the head suggests he's not bang on the
9.
red adjacent to the black. Not without hitting the black. Oh, he's played that well. Goodness, that's a really good shot. To steer the cue ball up for the blue and leave the black in play. Very good.
Wasn't a bad season by any means for Mark Selby last time out, although by his very high standards, of course, he would have been disappointed not to win a title. He was runner-up to Mark Williams at the British Open, semi-finalist at the Players' Championship, European Masters, qualified for the Tour Championship for the top 12 on the one-year list, and obviously you've got to be playing consistently to get into that tournament. So he played well enough, but obviously the manner of his loss to Joe O'Connor would have stung him. He described it as, and I quote, rubbish from start to finish, and it's quite rare to hear Selby say something like that. Just belying his state of mind and the fact that clearly at the moment, or at least back in the spring, he was not overly enamoured with the game. But things can change very quickly. It only takes a couple of good wins over top players to change your outlook. And if he could go on to win tonight and indeed lift the title, well, that would be transformative for Selby, you would think.
Well, he'll be pleased with the way that the shot from black to red worked out. He slightly overhit to land on the black, which was of course above its spot. Then it all went as good as it could really from the cannon on the reds above the black. A bit like the Murphy break, he's kind of got the balls where he wants them. Now he's got to just convert it, as Murphy did. That is not a good shot. Played to
29.
just nudge the two reds, but he's clung to one of them. That is amazing that he could finish there with all the balls at his mercy. The next shot's a big one. I think he has to play safe. Not someone that will try and push the boat out on situations like this. This is really difficult if he's going for it. Slightly easier if he plays the up and down safety from here. Yeah. Well, he'll be more than a bit disappointed to have only made 29 there, because he was really in. He'd done all the hard work.
Selby 17-14 up overall, but Murphy has won the last couple of times they've played in the Players events, the Players Championship and the Tour Championship in 2023. That semi-final was a cracking match, Selby losing in a decider to Murphy before he claimed the title.
Well, I don't think I've ever seen Shaun Murphy play better than he did in that series, the Player and the Tour. Especially the Players, where he looked like at one point he was just knocking in centuries. I think he had the 5 highest breaks that week, all at the same time, close to the end of it. If anyone can find a way out of this, Selby is probably the man, because all the reds on the left is very congested. Hard to find a route back to safety. In fact, I don't think there is one. Unless he's got a way down the right side that he can go through a gap. The other thing he could do, the two reds on the left side, close to the left corner, he could just roll up to the bottom one of those, just to contain for one shot. But he's in a bit of trouble here. Wouldn't surprise me if he came round to this bottom left pocket and had a look at what he would leave if he did play to roll up to that ball. That's exactly where he's at now. He's looking down this end, so he's leaving the cue ball at the bottom end of the table because he can't get back to bulk. What a strange decision in the end. After all that, I was singing his praises, saying that he'll find a way, but that was an odd shot, I thought. Trying to hit a thin edge of a red off the cushion. He left a chance here.
One.
Selby is usually the perfect player to think up a shot to get out of a mess like that, and he hasn't done it. Well, again, this feels like a moment in the context of the whole match. Selby should have made more than 29. Murphy got him in trouble, and now the chance has come for Murphy.
Eight.
It was looking like 7-2, but it could be down to just a frame, the difference.
It was one of those scenarios at the end of the session, and you sometimes get it where the player in front looks unhappy, the player
14.
behind, and in the case of Murphy, 3 frames behind, quite a significant deficit, looked significantly brighter about
15.
the way things had turned out, because he was, I'm sure, expecting to be 5 behind. It was something of a reprieve, which he was able to take with his highest break to that point. And now very much back in contention. If he can win this frame, the match is right back in the balance, and Murphy's got the momentum.
$22.
Well, these are not all going in cleanly.
23.
They're still going in. And because it hit the left jaw, the cue ball has just strayed a bit further down the table for the black than was intended.
Set. $31.
Things are going to get more difficult now in this break with these 4 reds all not only on cushions, but one red stopping the other one from being potted on the left and bottom of the table. So a bit of thought has got to go into it, but he's in front by a few.
36.
The table is not ungenerous. It's a question of you can still miss down the cushions, but if your position is good, I don't think You would say players will miss chances.
37.
It's not a particularly good shot to get close to a red. Selby will be hopeful to come back to the table soon here. This is a big shot. Playing the cannon. That is a fantastic shot, goodness. There's many a reason why that could have gone wrong. It could have come unstuck on the shot.
44. $45. $52. $53.
I don't think he meant to hit the second red there. So the frame's not over. 31 the lead. Goodness, is he really going to play this plant?
60.
Well, he's good with the rest, but it's not really about it being a rest shot. It's about the two reds being far enough apart. This, if he misses, could bring Selby back into the frame. It's a great shot.
61.
And a piece of the jigsaw is black. Played it gently to give the ball every chance of going in.
Not a gimme of a black, but it's all he needs. Oh, he's drawed it. It wasn't easy.
No, but I think you
61.
summed it up perfectly. After all that work, he knew that was all he needed, and that's probably the reason he missed it.
So a potential late twist in this frame when it looked as though Murphy was going to win his third in a row. A wince from Selby, didn't want the little kiss on the blue, could have been worse.
Thinking back to Murphy's shot on the black, I'm surprised he never just dropped it in. I don't really think that's a shot that he plays very often. Just drop the black in. If the cue ball finished on the top, on the right-hand cushion, so what? You've got a lead. And he wasn't even playing on the red, so he kind of played it slower. Might have still missed it, but give it every chance. You know, that's a good shot as well. Feel aggrieved not to have got the snooker. Selby might try and bring the black out here. I think Murphy will try to pot this red. Either way, he's putting distance between the two balls.
This frame feels bigger now that both players have had chances. Selby getting in initially, running out of position in disappointing fashion. Murphy having the chance to clinch the frame for his third in a row, missing frame ball black. And of course, if Selby can now go on to win this one, Murphy's back where he was at the start of this deciding session, 3 adrift. Only needs the red, of course.
It's a tough shot, isn't it? I mean, it really is, because I don't think you can guarantee anything would go safe were he to miss it. That's just a sensational shot for me. Put all of the other stuff to the back of his mind. Beautiful shot. Now a little tickling behind the black and buying something unlikely. He's within a frame.
Shaun Murphy 1.
Well,
Big
that certainly made
turnaround,
up, didn't it, for the miss red, for the miss black, I should say.
Yeah, it really is, and you feel that this match is very much alive when it was in danger of being one-sided.
Foul.
And Selby's nodded his head in his friend's direction. So I think that's the end of that frame. First session, which he looked likely to lose, and at the moment that's proving ever more significant because he's won the 2 on the resumption, including that brilliant frame ball red just now after he'd missed the black previously. And Mark Selby on the back foot at the moment. Yes, he's still in front, but that commanding lead has been whittled away. 6-2 up, very nearly 7-2. A long way off with that.
It's one of those shots. The problem with it is, you know, you try to control the cue ball and say that you're not going to do any damage, but if you miss it by that far, you've got control over just about nothing. Balls flying around everywhere.
One. Green ball. Four. Five. Twelve. Thirteen.
So in again, and it will be hurtful to Selby if he were to continue in the kind of form he's been in, and he has been in good form this evening, Shaun Murphy.
21.
Now, going to have to move some reds here. So they're going to screw it in, put the black into the same pocket as the red, or run through. He's playing the first one of those.
29.
Interesting shot, wasn't it? Because the cue ball went forward and then backwards. Took a while for the grip of the backspin to take.
$36. 37. 41.
Well, he might be able to play on the red on the bulk cushion with the blue there close after. If there was no high value colours close to the red, he probably wouldn't want to play it.
42.
But he has no real angle from this brown to land on that red up the table anyhow.
Bumper.
So he's going to go for the red to the right down the table here. Well, he's going into them. Seeing it again, it looks as if he's on one. He looked hopeful that he's on that red.
In the first 8 frames of this semi-final, Murphy's highest break was 62, the only half-century he made. In the last 3 frames, he's made 72, 140 and 61. Now he's back at the table, threatening to win his 4th in a row to tie it up at 6 each. What a turnaround.
$49. 50. 57.
Well, he couldn't hold from that black, and now on the brink of winning the frame, he's got an important shot. And he got nowhere near it. He knew it was important. He knows that there's not much safe if Selby can make a counter-attack.
This feels like a big visit for Mark Selby. He's rather lost his way
One.
the second half of this semi-final to date. Was completely outplaying Murphy to lead 6-2. Very nearly 5 frames in front. Now in danger of losing the lead altogether. But if he could put something substantial together here, that would change things again. Nothing particularly safe. There's a red in baulk, of course, but it's off the cushion. So it's a chance.
9.
So that red up the table I spoke about, I mean, as I say, it looks awkward, but
16.
with the blue next to it, you know, you get right behind the red, the blue's there. It's an easy option. So you won't want to be taking the blue away from there at any stage before he's taken the red on that's
17.
in the bulk area. This would hurt Murphy, but there's quite a long way to go to make it happen.
$24.
Well played.
25.
It's boiling up into another interesting frame, this one. The conclusion of which we're not sure yet.
$32. $33.
So it's not as difficult as it looks, providing he gets perfectly on the red.
Well, he's the ultimate snooker competitor, Mark Selby.
36.
Incredible temperament, even when he's struggling. Seems to have endless reserves of resilience, which is why he's been able to prosper on the big stages in the most challenging situations so often in his career.
You kind of wonder where this is going to go wrong. That's what Shaun Murphy, sitting in his chair, is contemplating. Where can I still win this frame? It's out of his hands.
42.
But I suppose the only thing is that the pink's a long way away from the black. He might struggle to get from pink to black, but somehow I don't think he will.
$44. $47.
You
51.
wouldn't want to be straight on the pink. Any angle, preferably from perhaps below the pink. So just off the bulk cushion and back out, but not too far. So the angle is absolutely perfect.
56.
The only thing that could go wrong if you left the cue ball close to either the left or the right cushion, probably it'd be the left one, but it looks perfect to land on the black right behind it.
This has been a great break from Mark Selby when you consider he's lost 3 in a row after leaving the arena earlier, feeling angry with himself that he wasn't 7-2 up. This for 7-5. Superb, absolutely superb clearance from Mark Selby, and what a match this is now. Both players are producing some great stuff. The game of snooker, that was what Alex Higgins made against the whirlwind Jimmy White back in '82 in the momentous semi-final. It wasn't quite that good, but it was, in the context of this match, extremely good and very significant for Selby to put him 7-5 in front and within 3 of the final on Sunday. Remember, tomorrow, Ronnie O'Sullivan against Judd Trump. What a match that'll be, from 7 o'clock AM UK time, 8 o'clock if you're watching in Europe. Second session from 12:30 UK.
What a shot that is. I'm not saying he played directly behind the yellow, but it was still a very neat safety shot.
Foul and a miss. Selby 4.
Not very close to what he intended, but what has he left? I think a red to middle. Got the option to have these put back, but if the plant is on, then no way in the world is he going to have them replaced. Looking at 2 reds to the right corner. Well, the plant isn't on, but the top red appears to be.
One.
Wouldn't have played on the pink to the left corner, but he'll take it. So now we're at the point where this frame is a very important one as well. It'll level the session if you can win it, Selby. Restored his 3-frame lead. What a miss. What an unexpected miss.
Selby 1.
Gesturing that it went left, directing traffic a little bit. Let's have a look. I can't really tell from there, but he's adamant it rolled off.
One. 7. Eight. $15. 16.
Just wondering if you get that red, the left-hand red, got a glimpse of the camera angle. Would it go past the black into the right corner? Because he'd play on it if it did, and he seems to have played on it. So his belief is that it does pot. He's got to
21.
dust himself down, Murphy, and forget the last frame, which he should have won, as we know.
22.
It's been a superb session of snooker. We've not even had 4 frames, but it's been of the highest quality. Needs that red to bounce off the cushion. He's not going to. Could be something to the right middle.
29.
Mark Selby produced that superb 69 to win the 12th frame. So it came as a big surprise to see him miss the blue, not least to him. Looked as though he felt it had just drifted off to the jaw, but it would have been a chance to build on that excellent break and potentially put himself 3 clear again. Now he's got to hope that Murphy makes a mistake.
I wonder if something does go to that right middle. The red second up, not the bottom red of the 5 on the right, the red above it that's next to it. It's got to be close as to whether that actually goes. I wondered at the time, not totally sure that Murphy had spotted it originally. Options though look pretty thin on the ground.
Shaun, 29.
There's an example of making the best of shots. It didn't look very much. The players would have perhaps just pushed the red down, cue ball the other end of the table and not overthought it, but Selby played a very effective safety shot in the end. I think that's one thing you would say, as that cue ball heading towards the corner pocket, is that at this level you have to make every shot count, even shots that don't appear to be much of a challenge, because he forced the error in the end, the in-off, with the previous shot, Selby.
Who won this title back in 2011, which at the time was only his second ranking title success. He's now got 22, beat Mark Williams in a pretty dramatic final. And that's a nice red. Well floated in by Selby.
What?
Well, they're always missable, those, because you know what you're possibly going to leave, and if it goes in, you know what you can score from it. And Murphy looked frustrated at the way that this frame is going as well. So no slip-ups here, I would say, would be Mark Selby's idea of just getting another frame on the board. Has to be very careful, but again, it's a pretty inviting table now.
Twelve. Thirteen.
Matches of this length inevitably are going to have different turning points. We have one at the end of the first session with Murphy winning a frame that Selby would have felt he should have won for 7-2. Instead it was 6-3, and Selby returning the compliment just now in the 12th frame to get himself back on the front foot in this match, which was just threatening to get away from him. Murphy was coming on strong, scoring heavily, made the 140 clearance, was looking the more likely until he missed the red to the left corner, and Selby stepped in with that nerveless 69 clearance. And now,
28.
with the opportunity to pull 3 clear again and within 2 of a place in the final.
He shaped up to play the cannon here on the 3 reds. Nothing wrong with that.
35. $36. $43. $44.
Great chance now then for Selby. The reds are there for him. to share this little mini session. He'll be highly delighted with that, having lost the first 2 on the resumption.
Yeah, a little nudge on the blue just to give him 3 reds that he could play here.
50.
Well, he would very much fancy getting the frame one here. Red colour, red would do it.
51.
Hoping to land his 38th professional title this weekend, Mark Selby. Spent 4 years as world #1.
58.
And the crowd acknowledging that that's the point of no return for Shaun Murphy, who'll be disappointed overall because he started the evening so well. Wow, Selby's missed the black off its spot. Is that just a momentary lapse in concentration, thinking the job was done?
Well, I mean, Murphy has to carry on now. He might even take red-black here. A lot of the time, players will leave the last red on the table. Don't know quite how he missed that.
1 snooker to tie as things stand, which is eminently retrievable from this situation.
Yeah, the choice is now, do you keep the red on the table? Is that worth it? I suppose with the black over the pocket is always going to be there if you've got the 4 points, or do you just pot it, get into the colours and get your snooker then? Because it currently 1 to tie. Obviously has to play the black here. May even pot the yellow following this.
Perilously close to a calamitous in off. That would have been end of frame for sure.
I mean, he could take it down to the blue and then it's 1 snooker to win, but that man is so good at getting out of snookers. It's the more balls on the table left, the better, I think. That's why he didn't play the green there, because he decided now is the time, but he has not got the snooker. There's a bit of danger in the double kiss. Could all of a sudden see the cue will squeeze off at an angle into a pocket. probably spells the end of the frame now. Can't see any reason why he'd carry on, and he looks less than pleased.
Yeah, it's been an eventful start to this decisive session. Both players with cause for some regrets about frames they might have won that have slipped away, but overall Mark Selby will be, I'm sure, delighted to have shared. Cheng Wei Li, our referee, and we're ready to resume. So 8-5 Selby, 10 of course is the target. The winner to play either Ronnie O'Sullivan or Judd Trump. They're in action tomorrow. Selby looking for his first win over Murphy since the 2022 English Open. Murphy's won the last two, Players' Championship and Tour Championship, both of which he won, of course, in 2023. Selby leads the overall head-to-head 17-14, including 2 victories at the World Championship, including, of course, the final 4 years ago, 3 years ago, I should say, which he won 18-15.
Yeah, of course, the Players Series is a great event, but you don't get in as defending champion the next year. You've still got to earn your right to be there. And the last twice, Neil Robertson, who dominated the year before, wasn't a part of it because he had a bad season, and Shaun Murphy didn't really defend them either because he didn't have the same season he did when winning. So it's quite hard to win it back-to-back years because you've got to sort of get in there both years as of right. Anyway, it's very early in the season and we don't know any of the players involved in those events just yet. This is not a ranking event, so it can't help towards them. So Murphy will keep fighting and keep cueing beautifully as he tends to be doing. But ultimately, he's got to win this frame. It's an absolute must-win, and probably the one after it, as we approach the target of 10.
$17. $18.
Well, he'd be disappointed if he didn't make serious dent in the scoring in this break, because there's a good chance.
24. $25. $31. $32.
I'm not sure that red above and to the right, the black pot's past the black. He's had a look. The answer is pretty much yes. Zhang Weili, the referee, just giving some instructions for people to make less noise, I think, in the audience. I can't imagine he was offering congratulations or anything. I think he was having a strong word. In fairness, it's been a great atmosphere, and the snooker's been pretty gripping all the way through. The odd interruption, but not that many. Just what he wanted again, like the resumption tonight, that 140 break that we've seen a couple of times. It was it's kind of contribution is just what he needed, just to get a frame one quickly and pain-free, I think, which he hasn't done yet, but again, he will fancy to complete this mission.
His fourth significant contribution of the evening. He's played exceptionally well.
It's been a good match, isn't it, generally, but I think, if anything, the standards cranked up a notch or two this evening. Murphy is scoring. He looked to play well in all his matches, I think. I've seen them all, and he emerged from a summer break, perhaps. Not always the sharpest, but Murphy looks like he's been putting in the hours. Obviously, Selby has. He's in fun. But standard's been high.
The 14th break of over 50 in this match. Selby had his own big century early on, a 136 to lead 2-1.
Interesting setup, isn't it? The tables generally here in Asia are, it seems, slightly generous. They're going off the jaws more readily. But if you go back to this year's World Championships, they were quite tight pockets. They weren't giving a lot away, and players seem to like that as well. It was certainly a championship where there were breaks, but any big breaks, well, you'd certainly earned the right to make them. Conditions were very standard, the pockets, whereas the year that Luca won the title, pockets definitely more generous again at the Crucible. So they vary for whatever reason. They're all templated, but they do vary, and they're not tight this week.
Well, this is exactly what Murphy needed. Realistically, he had to win this frame. Hard to see him winning 5 in a row against Mark Selby. But not only has he won it, he's won it in style. Just this red for his second century of the evening. He's just about wriggled it in.
Not sure how that went in. Well, obviously it looked to have left the cushion. We must have reiterate the point about the conditions, scoring tables.
Seven.
Now the only question which remains is if he clears up, are we going to get the nod to all parts of the stadium again from Shaun Murphy? I think the answer is yes. It's a nice little touch, I guess. Show of appreciation. Well, he deserves to be applauded for that shot. So if this black goes in, just keep an eye on him. Little nod. And a strut back to his chair. He's playing a trick shot. Oh, beautiful.
What a finish. A grandstand finale to a brilliant century clearance from Shaun Murphy. This has been a fantastic semi-final, which seems to be getting better and better. The crowd love that. Mark Selby less so, but brilliant stuff from Murphy, and what a way to finish.
Frame 15. Must serve it to break.
Mark Selby breaking off in frame 15. Still 2 away after that sensational 1-3-4 total clearance from Shaun Murphy. Finish with the exhibition black to bring the house down and to stay in touch. 2 adrift. The 24th century of the week here in Shanghai. Barry Hawkins 141 remains the best, numerically at least. That's another clean pot from Murphy. And the way that he finished that break just now brought back memories of his incredible maximum break at the shootout last season, which was quite extraordinary. Possibly never to be repeated in that format, where time, of course, is of the essence. It's one of those matches where whoever does end up on the losing side is entitled to feel a bit aggrieved, because they've both played some great stuff.
Five.
Yeah, I mean, that 147, I can think of 3 which were significant and probably, well, very possibly never to be repeated. I think number 3 would be the maximum that the deciding frame that Stephen Hendry made with the scores 8-all from 8-2 against Ronnie O'Sullivan. The charity challenge all those years ago, but the top 2, Murphy's 147 in the shootout, people said would never happen. It's possible to say it would never happen again, but I'd like to see it if it did.
11.
Of course, number 1 is O'Sullivan's just over 5-minute maximum at the Crucible. I mean, I just don't think that will ever be beaten. Time-wise, I can't imagine it. There's not
12.
a player on the tour right now who could do it, even Tepchaya. So there's certain maximum breaks, almost iconic really in the game. There's never been a bad one, but some are even better than others. Right now though, about 75 to 80 is what Shaun Murphy would settle for in
19.
making a break, using the bottom of the bunch. Oh, great shot. Terrific. Playing with the usual aggression.
$27. $28.
Well, he's got red to middle here, which I'm sure he's going to prefer, given that I'd say
35.
that he played on the red to left corner, but he's got very awkward cueing. But the backup red, he's no problem at all. Well, he didn't give up, and the frustration at 8-5 was obvious when he walked out, and the end of a frame which he feels he probably should have won. Sometimes that's where the mid-session interval can work in your favour. Then you've got time to regroup after the disappointments of what's gone before.
41.
He would argue that he'd been the better player in the evening session, but he has had nothing to show for it after 4 frames.
$42.
Murphy loves that shot, screwing it around 2 cushions for the left-hand side, making the cube just zip around.
47. $48. $51.
He's such a good wrist player, isn't he? I know we always mention it, but the shots he plays, he doesn't seem inconvenienced by using it at all. Most players can play to a half-decent level, but it's almost like he's as good with the rest as any other shot. It's getting serious for Selby now, because this is on the brink of 2 big breaks in a row since they regrouped from the mid-session at 8-5. And I do remember him
60.
from 12-7 beating Matthew Stevens at the Crucible. I was in commentary for that match, and you thought, well, at some point it's going to hit him that he can win. Pressure comes back on, but he just kept going and going in that match and won it.
Beat Ali Carter in a UK Championship semi-final from 4 down with 5 to play
67.
once, doing something similar. And he's missed that red. Goodness me, that was the ball he needed. Crowd can't believe it. Murphy can't. Shake of the head. Just when it looked as though he was guaranteed 8-7. Still enough there for Selby to tie the frame.
Well, it's bonkers, isn't it? I think what happened was he was worried about the cannon on the other red and forgot the pot, which is a bit of a sin. But the bottom line is, it was virtually unmissable. And position is one thing, but it really wasn't the most important part of that shot anyway. It was all about the red going in and the black, and Selby doesn't even leave his chair. Ready for the next frame. Now, I mean, it could end up a respot, although there's a lot of work for Selby to do to make that possible.
8. $9. $16.
It's one thing if he was to play the cannon on the two reds, but again, you wouldn't be sure of being able to get onto the black from the red, so he mightn't play this too ambitiously. No, that's all right. That is fine.
He's already produced a vital 69 clearance in the 12th frame to move 7-5 in front when it looked like Murphy was levelling at 6-all. Of course, as things stand, the best he can do here is tie the frame, but what a result that will be when Murphy was just that red away from 8-7.
Yeah, I mean, the problem here with the pink, if you could cannon the pink, knock it out and be behind the red, that would be the perfect shot, really. He's tried it. Oh, goodness me, what a shot that is. That is just... It's the dream shot there to get the pink out. There's a right-hander down the cushion.
32.
Can't fail to be on the black. The red's still got a drop. That wasn't the dream shot. It was up until then, and Murphy, well, I mean, he's probably sitting there like he feels like he's almost won the lottery. The frame is now back in his command.
Yeah, relief will be the emotion for sure for Murphy. It wasn't an easy red for Mark Selby, but had he got it, he would have been firm favourite to force an extra black. As it is, Murphy can breathe again, and it is going to be 8-7, and this match is right back in the balance again. What a tussle it's proving to be.
Yeah, you're right. It wasn't an easy red. I feel that on these tables and where he was with the cue ball, it's probably about a 4 out of 5, 9 out of 10 red, isn't it? I fully expected him to get it, but almost the last shot that could have been missed before the possible respot, which never happened. And again, we're down to just one frame. What a match it is.
13.
All the ingredients that go together to make a compelling spectacle in this sport. We've had big breaks, we've had quite violent shifts of momentum. Just when one player is looking likely to get on top, the other produces something to deny them. Murphy has come again after the final interval. Would have been disappointed to be 8-5 behind, having closed to 6-5 and nearly 6-all, but now he's back within one again. Brilliant century in the previous frame, and ultimately the 67, with a few extra points thrown in after Selby missed that tricky little red.
16. Shaun wanted to break.
Frame 16, Shaun Murphy breaking off in a bid to tie this up at 8-all and make it a best of 3 for a place in the Shanghai Masters final. They usually conjure a match to remember, this pair, not least at the World Championship a couple of times. Masters, UK Championships, other finals, you name it. It's been a great rivalry, and of course they are good friends off the table. Selby having won 17 to Murphy's 14. And this has been no exception. It's been a terrific match. High quality, plenty of drama as well.
Well, that was a shot that got him into trouble earlier on. In the very opening frame, that was already missed, and it got the double kiss, and Murphy decided enough was enough, made 140 from it. This time the in-off has inconvenienced him again. Not a straightforward opening red, but from on that bulk line with the cue ball, he can cut it in. Yeah, it's not bad finishing low. It means the couple of reds directly above the black are certainly going to be shifted here. Mentioned that shootout 147 had a tweet since I mentioned those three notable 147s about agreeing with them and also saying that the Davis first on TV and the Cliff Thorburn at Sheffield have to be included. Well, yeah, a list of 5 maybe.
9.
Of course, the first ever 147 was meant to have been televised, but the camera operatives were on some kind of a lunch break. It was an event in Slough a few years before that. John Spencer made it, and I was there as a small child that week, and they reckoned that the pockets were bigger than standard. That was before this 147 was made. I wasn't there that day.
17.
That was John Spencer. So that doesn't really count in the official list. Anyway, he's still on reds and blacks here, but I don't think that's on his mind at this stage.
24.
If memory serves me correctly, Steve Davis was actually quite poorly when he made the first televised maximum. That was in Manchester, wasn't it? I think he was nursing a very heavy cold, but clearly didn't affect him.
Maybe low expectations on the day worked in his favour. It can do sometimes.
Won a Larder car, didn't he? I don't think he ever drove it.
25.
They were very rare then. 147s, of course, that being the first, but
I thought you meant Larders.
Well, no Larders. I think there are quite a few going around. See more 147s now, but they still mean something, don't they? I mean, I love to see them. Crowd enjoy watching them. Many people would have never seen one live. Anyway, as I say, he's still on reds and blacks, but this frame, however he wins it, is really crucial. The difference he would feel if he could bring it to 8 all.
$33.
So coming away from the black onto the pink might be a good thing. Got a frame to win, and that's not perfect. Sort of red up the table into the green pocket. I think that's all he's got.
39.
Goodness me, that could not have got any closer.
Shaun Murphy.
I suppose the clue was he stayed down on it, so he wasn't sure. But as you say, this did everything but drop. Saw Kyron Wilson have one of those in his 6-0 beating to Zhou Yulong, which may have seemed a rather odd result at the time. It was one of the frames he led 66-0 and Zhou cleared it after a red finished over that top pocket. Just like that it was. It's like anything, it'll only be significant if Selby wins the frame, because it was ever so close to going in and continuing the great run from Murphy.
Three. Four.
It's a very delicate shot and really well played. He played off the right side of the red in the bunch there to
9.
ensure the cue ball stayed there by brushing into the red to the right of it. So what a chance to at least get back into the frame, maybe more.
Seventeen.
Mark Selby has just about been able to keep Shaun Murphy at bay in this match. Murphy has threatened on a number of occasions to evaporate the lead altogether, including just now when he missed that red by the finest of margins.
25.
Selby, of course, had a chance to pinch the previous frame, or at least force the respotted black, but missed the final red.
Yes, he's got that red on the right cushion, which will just bring back memories of the red in the last frame, which he had a chance to take the frame to a respot and missed. That red was further away from the cushion than one he's queuing over now. But it will come back to him, I think, the thought that he missed it, because he'll need it again. And the green being a little awkward is another reason why he mightn't win the frame here. Just over screwing, so a little delicate nudge onto the three reds to hold the cue ball. He's got a long action mark, Selby, so it would be an easy shot for him to play. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have quite the same touch as one or two others on those shots, because the cue comes right back.
41.
So he's almost going to have to decelerate the time of impact to avoid just overdoing it. You can think of other players who might have played that cannon better than Selby, because he actually missed the reds.
Yeah, he did pretty well, didn't he, to find the gap between them. Hence the rueful smile. So back in the frame, not as many as he would have hoped, but just 2 points between them now.
Selby 41.
And that's not the best.
No, leaving the red on, I mean, it's never going to be described as an easy pot. But Murphy will certainly be attempting it. I don't think he thought that was in enough. The way he leapt up in the air, Mark Selby would have had a bit of false hope that he was going to get back to the table. This is a very crucial moment in the context of the whole match. What happens in this break?
6. 7. 14. 15.
Now, what does he do? Does he nudge the red out, or will he play behind it? He'll probably try and move it. No, he's gone the other way, and this is what Selby missed earlier. At least you've got more control when you're not playing the cannon.
22.
But this has got to go in the same way Mark Selby's had to in the previous.
Almost identical. And the same result, and he's left it just as Mark Selby did.
22.
Yep, he's hit the same part of the pocket. He's hit the right jaw as we look. So I said it was a 4 out of 5 shot. Maybe it was a little bit less than that. They both missed one. Cue ball is racing across the bed. He thought he was being cute there by playing it up the table for the pink, but he's overrun it by a mile.
And the withering glare tells the story. Anywhere but there for Selby.
Well, you're going to get the snooker, but it's an easy one to hit.
Selby 1.
In the absence of any other meaningful shot that he could have played.
Foul, anyways. Selby 4.
No, it appeared to be an easy one to hit, but I mean, if we asked to play it again, make the necessary adjustment, you'd think. He's probably trying to hit just a small amount of the yellow to put distance between the balls. There was smattering of applause before the balls had stopped rolling. Some people seem to know how it was going to end. This is a worry for Shaun Murphy. This frame doesn't want to be another one that's got away. Yeah, be pleased with that. That's well played. That's really well played.
Little tap of acknowledgement on the table from Selby, so down to the colours, huge frame. Selby hoping he's going to be 2 up with 3 to play at the end of it.
There's no easy shot here. You see double kisses whichever way you go, whether you push the yellow up and down or try to hit the left side of the yellow as we speak. The cue ball probably goes into the green. It's just not a nice shot. There's danger whichever way you look here. He's avoided the double kiss, so he's done well there. Yeah, he's had a long look at this and he's not really any closer to making a positive decision as to what to play. Again, it's a question of avoiding all double kisses. I don't think it's quite on. The pot's even more difficult. Can't get on the green, so what would be the point in taking it on? He did take it on. What a difficult shot it was. He missed it by a mile. So, has he got the shot to get from yellow to green? Crucially, he'll only need the green. He wouldn't have to take the break any further. So he could roll the green in if he was behind it. Wouldn't have to play on the brown. Nervy old end to a frame, isn't it?
Selby 4.
Inevitably, as we've reached the sharp end of this semi-final, the pressure increases, the nerves kick in. Most of the snooker has been very fluent in this match, particularly this evening. Mark Selby was clearly the better player in the first session. Murphy has come back hard at him this evening. Selby's done well to preserve a lead of sorts, but the question is whether he's still going to have that at the end of this frame.
Well, that was just a no frills containing shot, really. He tried to do anything much there just to keep the yellow safe for now.
He was up off that shot very quickly. Now has the blue come to his rescue? It looks as though it has, and it could easily not have done.
Yeah, I don't know what he played. Clearly the cue ball should not be in the middle of the table. A bit lucky in the end, Selby. Everything going onto a cushion. I mean, don't know, would he try and get the brown ball out? But now, because of the foul earlier for Murphy, he will also need yellow, green and brown. So I guess Selby likes it out as well. So, and also that was a very secure way of keeping the yellow safe. Probably the reason he played that shot.
Another one of those where it looked as though there was scarcely room for the cue ball to go around the back of the yellow, but it did.
Very unlike Mark Selby to play that shot and not make any contact. Snooker looked very hittable for him.
Shanghai Li getting some assistance from the marker Kang Yong to get this cue ball back where it was. Everyone's agreed.
He's playing it again, but with an adjustment, no doubt, to hit it off two cushions. It's well played. A lot better.
Murphy back to needing yellow and green to win this frame and tie this semi-final up at 8-all.
Not guaranteed to be the whoever wins this frame wins the match, but I guess if Selby wins it, then it takes into within a frame. So that's the reason there's all this tension, because clearly Murphy cannot afford to throw this one away, as he has one or two others. Very tense tactical frame. On the yellow a long time now.
Two.
Deadlock broken, but nothing in the way of position for Selby on the green, so still some way to go before this frame is resolved.
Selby 2.
Once again, not trying a great deal on that shot, except just to keep the ball safe for one. And it's not a simple table for either player. Murphy still needs 2 pots. Well, this frame a bit of an outlier, isn't it, compared to everything else? I mean, the other frames have been played quickly, fluently, and with good scoring, but this battle from the last red up until where we are, it's been going on quite some time now. Very close to it off in the right middle. And the green might pass the brown, but even if it does, it's a very difficult shot.
Selby 4.
Wow, what a big moment that is in this frame, and indeed in this match as we head towards the finale. A sarcastic nod of the head from Murphy, somehow contriving to knock the brown in there.
It's kind of changed an awful lot. Bottom line is, though, for Selby to win, he'll still need all of the balls, including that black that's down the cushion. Both players have lost a little bit of their fluency after this safety struggle. Selby would not be disappointed as to where the balls are finished. Tell you what, it's a good shot, but the in-off is end of frame. And he knows it. I thought he played it really well. Probably didn't deserve the in-off, but it still very nearly took place.
As it is, pretty unpleasant cueing for Murphy, right in the jaws of the pocket. Oh, yeah, couldn't have played that any better.
No, you're right, it was awkward cueing, but what a strike that was. So Murphy does, he hits the ball with such authority. And Selby had to concede that his opponent had played a good one there. See him rapping the table with his knuckle. Well, that's either good or bad. He's left this as a possible pot, but very difficult. The black has been nudged into a much more favourable position when it comes to possible clearance from Selby at the end of all this marathon frame.
That's great cueing from Murphy, but that little nudge, you see his reaction.
That's incredibly unlucky because he was going to be on the brown. It went until he flicked it away from its spot, and now the pink is in the way of the potting angle. That's very, and he couldn't do anything with the cue ball either. It was underneath the cushion. He couldn't use any backspin or anything to widen it. Very basic snooker, which you'd expect Selby to hit and keep safe, but you never know in a frame of this kind. I just had a feeling that Selby was going to pinch this frame after everything that's gone before, but that won't happen if he knocks this in and gets in behind the blue. A little bit riding on this. It's a frame that threatened to not be won by Shaun Murphy. It will be won by him now, barring a snooker. Didn't exactly play on the blue, so it's one snooker. It's still a glimmer for Mark Selby. But if this goes in, this blue, that's frame over.
Oh, it's taken him a long time to restore parity in this match, but finally it would appear that Murphy has achieved it. He definitely has now. Great bit of cueing from Murphy. And what a finale we have on our hands from here. It's a best of 3 for a place in the final. A 38-minute frame, a vital frame, and it's gone the way of Shaun Murphy, who at one stage was 6-2 behind and very nearly 7-2 behind, but has clawed his way back. It's been a fantastic match, as these two so often produce when they face off against one another. Their rivalry, of course, going back to their junior days.
Frame 17.
And still burning as brightly as ever. Mark Selby breaking off in frame 17. And Shaun Murphy looking to take the lead in this match for the first time. fully committed to that long red, not to be for Murphy. Just overcut it. He'll be delighted though with the way he's fought back. It was looking a bit grim at 6-2 with Selby looking good for 7-2 before he missed the pink at the end of the first session. But here's an early chance for the Jester.
One.
Yeah, I think the pain that would be inflicted on him had he gone 9-8 down here, or if he goes 9-8 down, which could still happen, of course. It would be a big blow when you think of the lead he had. That's been a good game. The last frame was very tense in amongst all the really good break building we've seen, especially today or this evening from Murphy. He's really attacked the situation. And this is a tough shot from Selby. Cue ball drifting away from the reds naturally. And that's why he played it slowly, and all of a sudden it's looking a bit of a different match, isn't it, to what we've seen for most of the day.
That was very unappetizing.
One.
The thing is, can Murphy continue this aggressive approach to the match, or now that he feels he's in with a good chance, will that somewhere slow him down, make him think a little differently? I don't think it will. I think generally he's a better player when he attacks, and he knows it. There's a big snooker semi-final to be won here, and he's put himself right back in the mix.
8.
Not least the guaranteed six-figure sum for winning this match, £105,000 for certain.
9.
For whoever comes out on top, and of course the chance to double that if you can go on to win the trophy on Sunday.
$16. $17. $24. $25. $31.
Well, he took great note in the pink where it went, and would it still pop past the reds when respotted? The answer is yes. Again, it's a very big part of the match, a big contribution to be made here. Selby showing a few signs that he's wilting. Not hugely, because the black he missed was not easy. He could have missed it playing at his best. It's not as if he's missed a sitter. Although one or two balls have started to stay out that he's played.
38.
Murphy with all of the momentum swing, all the confidence behind him. And he was chasing the game, and now he's not.
Circle 9.
Yes, there's no question that Murphy has been a stronger player in the second half of this match, just as Selby was in the first. But of course, you'd rather be in Murphy's shoes in that regard. It's how you finish rather than how you start.
Yeah, if you go back to the earlier session, it was 6-2 going on 7-2, wasn't it, in the favour of Mark Selby. Seems an awfully long time ago now.
47.
And of course the frame to go 8-5. You saw how frustrated and disappointed
52.
Shaun Murphy was that he hadn't got anything from the first 4 frames, because he felt perhaps that he was a better player, and you thought, okay, well, Selby is going to win now. But just when you think you've read the script, turns out the script is not what you thought.
53.
But this frame isn't one. He's just got this big shot on the pink where it disturbed reds, and if this goes as he hopes, then I think it will be end of frame. It's going to be like a trusty rest shot unless he can reach it. This is about the point of the table where it's touch and go. Yeah, taller players might be able to reach these from about where he
59.
is. But he is such a good rest player, he's happy to take up that option. Doesn't make it an easy shot, even how good he is with it.
Played confidently, right in the middle. So 59 the lead, still 67 there. He requires one more red after this black. And what a terrific bit of cueing that was as well. Loads of action on the cue ball.
67.
Wasn't it just? Now he's on the red to left corner, which will take him into the lead. Goodness, what a turnaround in this match.
This has been another outstanding contribution from Murphy. He scored so heavily in the second half of this match. .72 to win that all-important final frame of the first session that just gave him a lift. Visibly so. He left with a smile on his face. Selby was looking a bit grumpier, even though he was 6-3 in front, because
74.
maybe he knew that something like this might be coming. And since then, 140, 61, 57, 134, 67, and now this break to take the lead for the first time in the match.
81. .82.
You can still pop this. Very, very close quarters with the red, and of course could be a push shot if you're not careful. Now, what's this? He's playing almost a masse sort of a shot. I think it was perfectly legal. May not be one that you would want to try at home if you're not a very experienced player, because the cloth might go on the table you're playing it on. Oh, goodness. I mean, he's still got to win this match, and but he's 9-8 up, and it feels a very different game of snooker. He has got to convert it, though. It's not so easy to get that winning frame all the time, whatever's gone before. But all the hard work he's done, maybe we'll just bring a bit of extra pressure. He looks under no pressure.
Well, of the 31 meetings they've had, 9 have produced final frame deciders. That's what Mark Selby will be hoping for now, with Murphy completing a hat-trick of centuries in this session. The yellow doesn't matter. 104, another sparkling break from Shaun Murphy, taking the lead for the first time, and what a time. Shaun Murphy breaking off in the frame he hopes will carry him to a famous victory against his great rival and friend Mark Selby, who was very much in charge at 6-2 up, might have been 7-2, and now finds himself for the first time playing catch-up in this match. And Murphy has played outstandingly well this evening, just as Selby did in the first session. The tables well and truly turned tonight, but there's still time for Selby to have the last word, as he so often has in tight matches down the years in big venues like this. Indeed, his very first ranking title rather set the tone for his career for Mark Selby. 3 down with 4 to play against Ronnie O'Sullivan before lifting the Welsh Open way back in 2008. And many, many more examples of overturning giant deficits. He did it twice in World Finals, of course, against O'Sullivan and John Higgins.
And the nudge on the brown is crucial as to his next shot. Yes, it's okay, because he's on the green. Now, what a chance. He's in possession here. It's nothing Shaun Murphy wants more than to get this frame 1 here. And there's nothing Mark Selby can do about it. And that's an uncomfortable feeling in a snooker match, when you're sitting there hoping your opponent will miss, and if not, the match is over. You can play no further part in it until Murphy misses one, which under this pressure would not surprise me, quite honestly. Big occasion and a pretty momentous comeback, this.
11. $18. 19.
Yeah, just playing it safe there in that region where he's got choice of at least 2 reds.
26.
And he's played ever so well, hasn't he, in the second half of this match. He's never given up, even when he lost a bad frame to go 8-5. You thought, well, that was his bold run over, but he continues
27.
relentlessly striding on. That's typical Shaun Murphy for you. Never gives up. Always looks confident. But there is a match to win here.
The kind of snooker he's produced in this match, in the second half of it, very reminiscent of what he did 2 seasons ago when he won those 2 big tour events, Players' Championship, Tour Championship, in such fine style. Last season overall was frustrating, certainly in the ranking events, aside from the Championship League. But this is vintage Murphy today, from 6-2 behind anyway. Just a question now of finishing it off, if he can, for yet another famous fight back from a very perilous position. He's had many down the years.
Yeah, I mean, it was, you're right, those matches in the Players and Tour Championships, it was sensational, but never did he have to come from a long way behind. And as you've said, it brings about different pressures. And the other comeback that we always speak about is when he defeated Kyron Wilson in the World Championship semi-finals from a long way behind.
40.
He's got that fight in him, there's no doubt about it. And if anything, it sort of frees him up to play even better and more attractive snooker when he's behind. But now is the point where he can sort of join the dots really and finish the match off.
$41.
Interesting choice there. I thought he would play on the blue. He was right behind it, I thought, to play perfectly on the blue. Pink is the decision. So is he playing on the right-hand red, or has he got anything else in mind? I'm sure that last shot was one of his best. No, that's fine. Been looking at something to left middle for a long time now, and I think it's the red right in amongst them. The half a dozen reds are all basically in each other's way. He might have found one in the middle that which just creeps past the others. Failing that, of course, he could nudge them open. And I think he's got certainly the angle. He must be tempted to play into them now. Wow, what a decision to make. He's played on the plant. And it's not a certainty.
55.
He absolutely had a shot to go into them. As ever, he makes a good decision, although not necessarily a good shot at his next red. So it may not be quite over yet.
6-1.
Well, this is the moment. Mark Selby sits there knowing that if this goes in, it probably is game over. But a lot resting on this shot.
Nothing safe. But he stroked it in. That was a beautiful bit of cueing from Shaun Murphy, because they were all there for Selby for an effective counter.
Yeah, I think if he does win, there might be a celebration of some kind, because it's been a spectacular comeback, this. I don't think he'll do anything till the next red goes in. When it does, he knows he's in the final. He's really deserved it. He's been brilliant tonight. 1 or 2 setbacks.
Incredible performance from 8-5 behind, having played as well as he did at the start of this final session, only to emerge after the interval with nothing to show in terms of reducing the deficit. He's managed to put together a 5-frame burst. Incredible performance from Murphy. This is Murphy at his brilliant best. And it's good to see. He's a real asset to the game, Murphy. So good to watch. Great attitude, great temperament, and once again not fazed by a deficit against one of the world's best.
Yes, he had a pretty poor season after winning early in the Championship League. The rest of it was a bit of a write-off. But as sure as night follows day, he was always going to come back, because he's too good a player not to.
And now looking to sign off with his 4th century of the evening. This really has been something else, and Mark Selby hasn't done all that much wrong. 1 or 2 frames that got away, but you could say the same about Murphy. He's just been outplayed by an outstanding performance. One of the best of Murphy's career, I fancy. I think he would put this very high up there when you consider the deficit he faced, the caliber of opponent who's got the better of him twice in the World Championship, including, of course, the final 3 years ago. But this has been Shaun Murphy's night, and what a night. And if he can maintain this level, then no matter who he faces on Sunday, be it O'Sullivan or Trump, he's going to take some stopping. This is surely the performance of the week.
And I think you're right about Selby. I don't think he's played poorly. Just a little bit, the odd shot here or there this evening that he's missed. He could have cleared to go to a respot from 67-0 behind. He may not have won the respot anyway. But he's just been the victim of an onslaught by Murphy. And he's done it to other players before.
And I'm sure that Selby will congratulate him warmly. They're close off the table. That was a devastating performance from Shaun Murphy. What a fight back, and there it is. Warmly congratulated by the 4-times world champion. 5 frames in a row, 8 of the last 10 from the magician. And that really was magical. Can he replicate it in the final? If he does, he will take some beating. Fantastic performance from Shaun Murphy to turn around a 6-2 deficit to go through to the Shanghai Masters final by 10 frames to 8.
This competition is finished. Thank you for your attendance. Please exit the venue in an orderly manner. When you leave the seat.
So Murphy